Title: Inside Story. He just wanted help with his belt, or so I thought. It all started on a quiet Tuesday morning in the small town of Ashford, where everyone knew each other's names and stories seemed to spread faster than the wind. My name is Rachel Morgan, and for the longest time, I believed I had a perfectly ordinary life. I was married, had a steady job at the community library, and a circle of friends I could lean on. But life has a way of surprising us in moments we least expect. What began as a simple request for help, something as small as a belt problem, became the unraveling of truths I never imagined I would face. I remember that morning clearly. I was rushing out the door, late for work as usual. My husband, David, was already gone, and I had barely taken 2 sips of coffee before I noticed my neighbor, Mark Lawson, standing by his car, struggling with something. At first, I thought maybe his tire had gone flat or his car alarm was malfunctioning. But as I walked closer, I realized he was fumbling with the belt on his slacks, frustration clear on his face. "Rachel," he said with a sheepish grin, "would you mind giving me a hand? The buckle seems to be stuck, and I'm running late for a meeting." At first, I laughed. A belt emergency? That's a new one. I thought nothing of it. After all, Mark was a longtime neighbor, someone my husband and I had known for years. Helping him seemed no different from lending someone a cup of sugar or watering their plants while they were away. But the way he looked at me, the nervous smile that didn't quite reach his eyes, it planted a seed of doubt I didn't fully understand then. I tugged at the metal clasp, helping him free it. "There you go," I said, stepping back. But he didn't just say thanks and leave. Instead, his shoulders slumped, and he sighed deeply, almost as though the belt wasn't the real issue at all. That was the moment things began to shift. Over the following weeks, Mark seemed to appear more and more often in little moments of my day. Sometimes it was at the mailbox. Sometimes it was when I was getting groceries. And each time, he carried that same energy, like he wanted to say something but didn't quite know how. One Saturday, while I was tending to my garden, Mark finally opened up. "Rachel," he said quietly, "I need to tell you something, and I don't know who else I can trust." I set down the watering can, brushing the soil from my hands. "What's going on?" His words tumbled out in fragments. He spoke about loneliness, about cracks in his marriage that no one saw, about how appearances sometimes hid the deepest struggles. I was stunned. From the outside, Mark and his wife, Emily, looked picture-perfect, hosting barbecues, posting family photos, attending church every Sunday. But behind closed doors, things were unraveling. The more he shared, the heavier the truth felt. He confessed that Emily had been distant for months, that he suspected she was hiding something. He didn't come out and say the word at first, but it was written in the way his voice broke. Infidelity. I listened, torn between sympathy and discomfort. This wasn't the kind of conversation I ever expected to have with a neighbor. Still, there was something raw and real in his voice that made it impossible to ignore. As weeks turned into months, Mark continued confiding in me. Each conversation pulled me deeper into a web of emotions I didn't sign up for. I began questioning things in my own life, my marriage, my trust in people, and the thin line between compassion and crossing boundaries. But here's the truth. The belt moment was never about the belt. It was a doorway, a symbolic unraveling of appearances. What seemed trivial became the first thread that, once pulled, revealed layers of hidden pain. One day, I asked Mark why he chose me of all people. His answer still lingers in my mind. "Because you listen," he said softly. "And because you see me when no one else does." That shook me more than I can explain. I never betrayed my husband. I never crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. But the emotional weight of someone else's hidden truth left a mark on me forever. The story isn't about scandal. It's about the way secrets sit heavy on people, the way appearances fool us, and how sometimes the smallest moments, like helping with a belt, can open the floodgates to truths we weren't prepared for. Looking back, I see now that what Mark needed wasn't someone to fix his belt. He needed someone to hear him, to see the cracks in the story he was trying so hard to keep together. And as much as I wish I could say I stayed untouched by it all, the reality is different. Once you've seen behind the curtain, life is never quite the same again. To this day, whenever I pick up a belt, I think of that moment, the day something ordinary became extraordinary, not because of romance or scandal, but because it taught me how fragile human lives and relationships truly are.